Welcome back, beautiful beloved souls. This is mainly a commentary channel where I look at anything and everything to do with life and death through lens, hence the name of the channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Gem Stone. I'm a psychic medium and I am an author. Okay, over the next few days, I'm going to do several parts, and this is going to be part 1, reality under the microscope. Do things exist when nobody is looking? Have you ever misplaced something? You search the entire house. You look in the kitchen, the bedroom, the bathroom. You even go back and search the same places 2 or 3 times, or if you're like me, even more, and nothing. Then, almost unbelievably, the object suddenly appears exactly where you swear you already looked. Most of us laugh. We blame our memory. We say, I must have missed it. And most of the time, that's probably exactly what happened. But isn't it interesting that almost everyone has experienced something like that? Perhaps that's why stories about glitches in the Matrix have become so popular. Objects that appear to vanish. Objects that seem to return. People who remember events differently. Stories that make us stop and wonder. Is reality really as straightforward as we think? In this part 1, I don't want to prove that glitches exist. I can't. Instead, I want to explore something much deeper. Why have human beings throughout history questioned the nature of reality itself? Let's begin with philosophy. The question that changed philosophy. Over 300 years ago, philosophers asked a remarkable question. How do we know anything exists? The French philosopher René Descartes decided to doubt everything. What if his senses deceived him? What if his memories were false? What if the entire world was an illusion? He stripped away every assumption until only one certainty remained. If I am questioning, if I am doubting, if I am thinking, then there must be something doing the thinking. I think, therefore I am. Whether everything else could be doubted, the observer remained, consciousness remained. That single sentence became one of the foundations of modern philosophy. But then came another question. Another philosopher, George Berkeley, asked something even stranger. Imagine an empty forest. A tree stands quietly among the leaves. Nobody is there. No human, no animal, no observer. Does the tree still exist? Berkeley believed reality depended upon perception. Objects continued to exist because, in his view, God continually perceives creation. Whether you agree with that or not, It is a fascinating question. What does it actually mean to exist? The observer. Even today, consciousness remains one of science's greatest mysteries. Every experience you've ever had, every colour, every sound, every memory, every emotion has happened inside awareness. Everything you have ever known has arrived through consciousness. That doesn't necessarily mean consciousness created the universe, but it does remind us of something extraordinary. Reality and perception are deeply connected. Without perception, there is no experience. The strange nature of matter. Now, let's leave philosophy for a moment and walk into physics. Take the chair you're sitting on. It feels solid. Your table feels solid. Your coffee mug feels solid. Yet, when scientists look inside matter, something remarkable appears. Atoms are mostly empty space. The sensation of solidity comes largely from electromagnetic forces and the interactions between particles. In other words, the solid world feels very different from what it looks like at the smallest scales. Reality is already stranger than our everyday senses suggest. We don't need science fiction to tell us that. Science itself is astonishing. Stories about reality. Throughout history, people have tried to explain these mysteries in different ways. Some through religion, some through philosophy, some through mathematics, some through art, some through stories. In recent years, the internet has become fascinated with so-called glitches in the matrix. Videos where objects appear to vanish. Stories of impossible coincidences. People remembering events differently. Some of these stories have perfectly ordinary explanations. Camera angles, memory errors, optical illusions, editing. Others remain unexplained. But unexplained does not automatically mean supernatural. Sometimes it simply means we don't yet know. And perhaps that is enough. A story that stayed with me. Many years ago, a close friend told me something I have never forgotten. She had been lying beneath a mosquito net over her bed. Half asleep, she began wondering whether reality was really as solid as it appeared. She reached upward, and she believed her hand had passed straight through the net. When she became fully awake, there was no hole. Now, can I prove that happened? No. Could there be explanations we haven't considered? Absolutely. But what fascinated me wasn't proving whether it happened. It was the question it left behind. How much of reality do we truly understand? Is matter an illusion? Years ago, during one of my own spiritual experiences, I found myself reflecting on something that science also tells us matter is not quite what it appears. Everything around us is made up of unimaginably tiny building blocks, atoms, subatomic particles, fields, interactions. The chair and my body appear separate, yet both are composed of the same fundamental ingredients arranged differently. Spiritually, I wondered whether solidity itself might be something consciousness experiences rather than something ultimate. Science does not say that objects can simply blink in and out of existence because we stop looking at them, but it does reveal that reality is far more mysterious than our senses suggest. Why humans keep asking. What fascinates me isn't whether glitches are real, it's that humans across thousands of years keep asking remarkably similar questions. What is reality? What is consciousness? Why does mathematics describe nature so beautifully? Why does music seem to move us so deeply? Why do so many spiritual traditions speak about vibration? Why do physicists describe waves, fields, and probabilities? Perhaps these ideas are connected. Perhaps they are not. But the conversation itself tells us something important. Human beings are not satisfied with appearances. We have always wanted to look behind the curtain. Closing. Perhaps reality is exactly as science currently describes it. Perhaps there are aspects we have not yet discovered. Perhaps philosophy still has questions physics cannot answer. Perhaps spirituality asks questions science has not yet learned how to measure. I don't know. And I'm becoming more and more comfortable saying those 3 words. I don't know. Perhaps sometimes the most honest answer is also the beginning of wisdom. Maybe reality isn't becoming stranger. Maybe we're simply becoming more aware of how mysterious it has always been. In the next episode, I'd like to ask another question. If reality is more mysterious than it first appears, then what is it actually made of? Matter? Information? Mathematics? Consciousness? Or something we've not yet imagined? I'll leave you with that thought. Until next time, keep questioning. Thank you for watching. Please, if you're going to do a comment, do so respectfully. And I'm going to keep this brief. You know how I end it. So please be kind to each other. Smile at a stranger. You might just save a life. Take care of yourselves because you matter. Love, light, and blessings. See you for part 2. Bye.